Hey there, Norman here from WellCode, and today we're going to be taking a look at the blog signature widget. The blog signature widget displays the author's name, photo, title, description, and so much more on a blog post. It's perfect for building trust and giving readers quick access to connect, follow, or reach out to the blog author, framing your content with the professional finishing touch. Here in the builder, we have our magazine blog template. This template will work great for our example because it already comes with a blog. Now, before we start, let me show you what we're going to be building in this video. We could see the blog signature widget is sitting here on the blog post and blends into the aesthetic of the site very gracefully, adding all the necessary information for the blog post author, as well as additional links and resources to learn more about the author. Let's head back into the builder and get started. We'll start by opening one of our blogs and then finding a good spot like below the content and adding our blog signature widget. Now, there are two methods for adding content into the widget: manually or through the connect to data option. The recommended approach is the connect to data option for a seamless integration. In the content tab, use the author section to manually enter an author's name and relative details. This method is the manual method of adding authors into the widget. And we also have a few additional options. Place each author in separate box. When enabled, this toggle places each author into their own separate box. And when disabled, all authors are grouped together in a single box. We have the Load Font Awesome 6 toggle. This is required for the social icons to be working properly. If you don't use social icons, you can safely disable this option. Airtable hyperlink. This link opens the Airtable template used to create your blog signature collection. And blog signature training doc. This link takes you to the training guide for setting up and customizing the blog signature widget. Okay, so to add our authors into the widget, we'll be using the recommended connect to data method. Now, before we walk through the connect to data method, we need to first create our internal collection and add our author's content there. We can also use the Airtable collection option, which is provided within the widget's options panel, as well as a template to help speed up the setup process. However, for our example, we'll still create it from scratch. To do that, let's navigate out of the blog and then using the left sidebar, click Content, Collections, Add Collection, and select Internal Collection. We'll rename this internal collection Blog Authors, and now we need to create the necessary fields within this collection, fields that the widget can then use to pull the information from. I'll quickly add those fields into the collection to save time, but you'll see on the screen a list of the field names and their field types. The field types are important to match up correctly to ensure the widget can pull in the content. And as always, you can check out our training doc for this widget for a full breakdown of what each of those fields should be. Okay, I finished adding those fields as well as populated a few blog authors for the sake of time. So now let's head back into the blog post and open that blog signature widget again. And now we can set this widget to use the connect to data option. To do that, click the gear icon at the top of the widget's content panel, select connect to data, and use the connect author to drop down field to choose the internal collection that contains the author's details. All right, now we simply need to go down the list of fields and connect them. Well, and I'll speed through that real quick for the sake of time. And perfect. Now that we have the widget connected to the collection, there's just one more thing left to do. Let's navigate to the Filter and Sort tab on the top of the window And under the Fixed Filter section, click the Add Filters button. From the dropdown, select the Full Name option. And now within the text field, you can type the name of the author that you wish to display on this specific blog post. The author's name must match the name within the internal collection. For example, one of my author's names is John Doe, so I'll add that name into the field. And you could see that it is populating John Doe's information immediately in the widget. And that's all for the Content tab. Let's head over into the Design tab and take a look at how to style this widget. Here under the Design tab, we have quite a number of options available, and the majority of these settings are labeled with their exact functionality and are pretty self-explanatory. And I won't be discussing them individually here. However, there are a few unique settings we will mention. The first one will be widget styling, and locate the section that has the options for border. This will apply a border around the widget. For this example, we want to click the gear icon and select just the top border, and then give the widget a 2-pixel border. Below that, we want to find shadow blur. This adjusts the blur effect of the shadow behind the widget. And for this example, we want to set this to 0 as to remove the blur. Next, photo styling, and we want to locate the photo gap setting. This controls the space between the author's photo and the text content. Okay, perfect. And that's going to do it for the blog signature widgets design tab. We can close the widgets option panel. And before testing this widget, I did want to walk you through one more step. In order to add the blog signature widget to other blog posts, you can simply set the widget up on one post, copy the widget, and then paste the widget onto another blog post. Then, if you need to update the blog's author, you can simply use the filter and search function to change the full name being used by the widget for the blog post. Also, if you have one blog post on your site, you can add the blog signature widget onto that post, and you can simply duplicate the post and then update the content as well as the filter and search tab for each author within the blog signature widget. If you already have multiple blog posts and you've finished adding the blog signature widget to all existing posts, you can then simply duplicate the last post and, as mentioned before, update the content of the post as well as the widget. These shortcuts will help make adding the widget to your blogs much easier for future posts. Okay, so now we can grab our preview URL and see this widget in action. If we navigate to the blog post, we can see here we have the blog signature widget displaying that author's photo as well as additional information. And if we navigate to a different post with a different author, we could see here that post is displaying the information for that new author as well. With that, my name is Norman Durkee, and you've been rocking with the best website builder platform on the planet, quocode.com. And until next time, and as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to support. We're always here to help.